Congrats.
Hello everyone and welcome to week 1 of the QuidditchUK Taskmaster tournament. I am your judge, Eamonn, playing the role of Nightfall. And tonight's guest judge is Josh Fogg, the QUK director. Hi Josh, how are you doing?
No, not bad, thanks. You, Eamonn?
Yeah, I'm good. Are you ready to see what people have been getting up to today?
I am indeed.
Very good. So let's get on with it. So the first task we can see, the British Quidditch Cup. So the task is to build your own British Quidditch Cup using only materials you can find in your household. And our first entry is the Bristol Quidditch's Cup. Bristol Puffs crossed out at the top there. What are your first thoughts on Bristol?
Oh, they've certainly gone for something local and something. I mean, it's certainly a sight. Loving the foil.
Yeah.
I think that's sticky tape along the bottom.
Indeed. So I can tell you, of course, we all know the natural measurement for measuring how tall trophies are is in terms of the minimum legal snitch tail length. This cup here is 1.8 mlstls, or 45 centimeters to lay folk. And if you ask me, it shows a real can-do attitude. And we also have a video here of Sam Froelich giving us a demonstration.
Oh, that's sturdier than I expected.
As we can see, it's maybe not as easy as we thought.
Oh, I like it.
And we've got one last photo there of what it looked like after all of the drinking attempts.
Oh my goodness, they certainly went to town on that trophy.
Very good. So first thoughts on the Bristol Trophy. How do you reckon?
I'm impressed with the utility. I mean, those look like sealed cans, so I imagine it had some pretty heft to it as well. I think it's an impressive effort.
Very good. So that was Bristol's entry. So we're going to move next on to East Midlands Vipers. Now, before we move on to them, they've actually within the team created 3 different trophies and had a between them as to which one they were going to submit. So we'll get onto their proper submission first, but they've got a couple of close runners up. So the first one is this giant foil monstrosity.
My goodness.
At a whopping 7.3 minimum legal snitch tail lengths, about 6 foot. They've got another photo with Shaz Hawkins for scale.
Well, I mean, it's certainly impressive, but I must say a little impractical. It reminds me somewhat of the first time I saw Jack Leonard walking out with the QPL trophy. At a point, it's just too big to be of any use.
So we'll move on to the next attempt that was not the final submission. So what we have here is a milk carton. I would guess a 2-pinter that's been cut in half, rearranged, and should we say not so delicately painted yellow.
I must say, I'm glad that you pointed out that it was a milk carton, because I was looking at that and just could not fathom at all what it was. It's certainly an interesting take on a trophy.
Yeah, and I mean, it's seeing as it is a milk carton, it does have a workable handle that will assist you in lifting. Although
that it does.
The opposite end of the spectrum in terms of size, only 25 centimeters tall. One minimum legal snitch tail length there, so a little bit easier to handle. So now we'll move on to East Midlands Vipers' actual entry, which is a much more impressive looking golden number. This clocks in at about 1.6 minimum legal snitch tail lengths. So
nice.
And we have a video here showing the construction effort behind it. So you can see an actual bottle of Prosecco has gone into it there. And the top half is made from a 5-litre water bottle. And now for the real piece de resistance. No need to have
Aye.
with your trophy when the champagne is your trophy. So, what are your thoughts on Viper's final entry there?
I am incredibly impressed. It's fairly basic in the looks department, though definitely trophy-like in appearance. But just the combination of utility and definitely watertight, that's just very impressive.
Yeah, I would have to agree. Next up in our entry list is Olympians. So there, if we take a look at their trophy, very enthusiastic player holding the trophy there.
Oh my goodness. I'm not entirely sure what I'm looking at.
Yeah, so we can take a look at the video that shows how it's been put together.
We wanted to make sure that we were working within the rules. However, after some research, we decided that posting a missile probably wasn't best. So, looking around my house, the first thing I could find was a broken hoop. So I thought I would take the middle bit to use this as the base for our trophy. So I chopped that into a nice little bit using not a nice little saw. This is very flimsy. It bent and it hurt my fingers. The next step was to use my flimsy saw to try and make a couple of long cuts down it so that I could bend it more easily. So I got covered in a load of lovely little plastic bits that I chopped out, but I managed to make 4 little divots into it. So the plan originally was to use my hairdryer that I use on my luscious locks to bend it. However, that didn't quite go to plan, so I ended up putting it over the stove in the kitchen, which did work. And you can see I got a nice little banana peel style base here. I thought I'm going to have to try and do a bit more of this bending and make it look a bit more fancy, so I decided to cut some longer strips out of it and bend those again over the stove, making it into this nice little holdy shape. Looks a bit more like a trophy base, I think. But it's still not good enough yet, so we're going to have to add something special, and I got a bludger. Here it is. Though it doesn't look like a cup to me, so I think the best thing that we can do is deflate the bludger, and then put the bludger back in, and it looks a bit more like a bowl shape. One thing that every tournament organizer is going to know is that there's always an abundance of electrical tape flying about. We use it to fix hoops all the time and attach pretty much anything to any old thing. So what I thought, keeping a bit of the spirit, use some electrical tape to keep this fixed to it. You might notice that I've been using a lot of Quidditch-related things that I thought were very apt for a BQC Cup. Well, I thought something else I could use. I'd try and find the most capey thing I could. This is a broom that was used in the first BQC, probably second BQC, Northern, all of that nonsense. I decided to shave a bit off it and set it alight, and I'm going to use the ash from this once I can get it to light. With a little bit of ash here, I'm going to write BQC onto this cup so everyone can tell what it is. This is the BQC Cup. But wait, it's not finished. We need to add a little bit of the community spirit to it. And what better community spirit than some lovely sea salt? Here it is, ground sea salt, adding that to the top just to give it that lovely salty flavour. And there you have it, our BQC trophy, representative of the year we've had.
So, thank you there for the PG version of that film. Very much appreciated. If we go back to the photo, we can recap that yes, this is a section of Quidditch hoop pole with a bludger, electrical tape to the top, BQC written on with the ash of a broom that was used in BQC 1, and a little bit of salt sprinkled on the top just for good measure. What are your thoughts?
I mean, it feels almost a ritualistic creation. I'm impressed at the number of Quidditch-related things that have gone into it. I do wonder how sturdy that electrical tape is. It doesn't look like the sturdiest of trophies, but
yes, yeah, like most Quidditch players that have been playing for more than 3 years, it does appear to be purely held together by tape.
yes.
So we will move on. So our next entrant is Southampton Quidditch Club, long-time club. With their entry, a very patriotic-looking number, says BQC 2021 written on there. Not as I first thought, BQC Zizi, which of course would be a reference to the former Princess Zizi Lambrino of Romania, who died in 1953. It's not a trophy in her name. It is a trophy for the 2021 version of British Quidditch Cup. What are your thoughts there, Josh?
It's certainly patriotic. Is that tape that they've done the colouring with?
Yeah, it looks like different colours of electrical tape cut into the Union flag there.
I do wonder how well all of that different tape would withstand a good drenching, but it's certainly impressive to look at.
Yes, I think you would have to be a little bit careful filling it up with the bubbly in the top there. And again, it doesn't look like you can hold too much. Only probably wouldn't get past the 5th player if you're passing that around for drinks after the tournament. So we will move on to our next entrant. This is from South Sea Quidditch Club. So a little note on the photo that we've got here. It might look a little bit odd at first glance. The reason for this is that there were 4 different South Sea players that contributed to this, and they were all located in different houses in different cities. So they couldn't completely assemble their trophy. So the base and the stem is one part, each handle is its own part, and the cup part is separate, and they have been digitally mocked up together as to what the trophy might actually look like. As the test said, this had to be made from items just around your house, and I can only assume that they had the base lying on a shelf somewhere. Anyway, if we take a look at the video that they provided, a bit of a longer one here, we can see exactly how they went about constructing all the parts of this.
Oh my goodness, it is actually bread.
Yeah.
My goodness.
Yes, we've got a clever bit of innovation here using shoe spray to waterproof the inside of a stale half of ciabatta. I don't think many entrants would have come up with that idea.
Certainly original.
Okay, so I guess this is my proof that I made this. Test tubes came from my freshwater test kit. Water came from the tap. The colour of the water came from this set of watercolours, and the shell is just in my house.
Very clever. Watercolours to colour the water, I thought.
Is from the bubble tea set. The little white bits are from a Lush gift set. It's like the little packing peanuts. The blue bit is blue washi tape that I apparently have in here. And the black ribbon is from a birthday present that I got.
And here we have a demonstration of how watertight their trophy might actually be. With a little ice thimble challenge to cap. So taking a look again at their final entry, let's recap. They've got a stale half of ciabatta bread sprayed with waterproofing spray for the cup. The left handle is a bubble tea straw with some Lush stars glued, little taped to the side of it. The right hand handle is a bubbler pipe from a fish tank. The stem is 2 test tubes filled with water that has been coloured with watercolor paint, and the base is a shell. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I'm impressed with the different elements of creativity that have gone into this, like the colouring of the water, the waterproofing of the bread. And I mean, it wasn't perfect, but it was a lot more waterproof than I expected from some bread, which is impressive. I do wonder how well these different components would have stuck together in practice, but it's certainly a lot of imagination has gone into this.
Yeah, especially the attachment of the test tube to the bottom of the bread there. If they're just shoving the test tubes through the bread, I think that might even further compromise its water holding capabilities.
Indeed.
Very good. So our next entrance is Velociraptors Quidditch Club. So all we've got here is this one photo to go off. It's quite hard to tell what's going on here, I will be honest. I'm even struggling to judge the scale of it. I think it might be roughly the size of a sort of tall travel mug. It's black with the QUK logo on it and has a couple of handles. It's about all I can say about it. Josh, have you got anything else?
Well, it's just all very curious from top to bottom. I mean, it maybe looks like a vase that might have been covered in maybe a black bin liner and some paint, judging by the messy stains.
Yeah.
But it really isn't very much to go off. And I would have liked to see some demonstration of its watertightness. But
yeah, I mean, for all we know, this could be completely solid and not even have a receptacle part to it. But thank you for the submission anyway. And we'll move on to our final entrant, and this is from Werewolves Quidditch Club.
Oh my!
So I can talk you through the design here. So we've got a small steel bowl on the bottom. The stem is made up of 2 cans. 1 can of chopped tomatoes and 1 can of chickpeas. So well on our way to a nice vegetarian curry there. And the top part is a slightly larger bowl with tinfoil handles. And we have another angle there showing a little surprise in the top for anyone who is to win this trophy. What are your thoughts on Werewolves' entrance?
I mean, I do like how shiny it is, and I do like the vegetarian food-based elements that have gone into it as well. It's very nice, very nice. I do question how well it would hold up in practice. It does look like some quite flimsy tape holding those handles on there. Not quite enough for a good hurrah up in the air after a victory.
Well, Werewolves anticipated your question and have supplied us with this video to hopefully answer.
Yo! Just to prove that our BQC trophy is waterproof, it's currently raining. As you can see, all of the raindrops. There's the chicken in there. Looks good. I do have to say that unfortunately our BQC trophy isn't the most durable. However, in terms of aesthetic appeal, in terms of taste, it's finger licking good.
So, reminding ourselves of the original photo there, and given the have those videos answered your question?
I think it has. I think it has.
Seems it couldn't hold up to a glass of water being thrown up into it. I will say that in their submission as well, Werewolves, along with saying the chicken inside might be finger licking good, they even claimed that their trophy is finger licking good. I posit that your fingers would just taste like metal if you lick them after hosting that trophy. So
Indeed.
Not too sure on those claims. Well, that's all of our entrants. So if we take a look at the final picture, we can see all of the entries there. And just to remind our viewers, every one of these entries will get the team 3 points just for entering. The team that Josh awards 3rd place will get an additional 3 points. The team that comes in 2nd will get an additional 5 points. The teams that come in 1st will get an additional 7 points. So, Josh, taking a look at these photos that we've got here, what do you think?
Okay, well, I think there's some very impressive candidates throughout this. I want to give a special shout out to the South Sea bread. It's just such an original idea that if you told me today that I would be looking at some waterproofed bread turned into a trophy, I would not have believed you.
It's certainly a brand new sentence for me as well.
For sure. I think my 3rd place choice is probably going to have to be the Olympians trophy, just because of how many Quidditch related elements that have gone into that, especially the BQC one broom. That's a very nice capey touch there.
Very good. So Olympians in 3rd place.
I think my 2nd choice is probably going to have to be Bristol. I love the utility of it. I love the appearance. It's just quite the something. I think it's quite fitting. I think it's quite fitting. And yeah, I think it's quite the trophy to behold.
Wonderful. So Bristol taking 2nd place there.
I think my top choice has to be the Vipers trophy. I didn't see the Prosecco bottle coming out. I saw the Prosecco bottle, but then just sort of the drinking out of it at the end, it was just too perfect. It was just too perfect.
Yeah, and I must say, like you, I assumed it was an empty old Prosecco bottle first presented. That twist of actually opening it and drinking from the trophy itself Very clever, I must say. So Vipers go into first place at the end of the week, and if we take a look at our leaderboard, we can see there Olympians in third, Bristol in second, Vipers sitting on top, and all the other teams in joint fourth place. So thank you everyone for watching week 1 of Taskmaster. Thank you, Josh, for being our guest judge. Have you enjoyed yourself?
Oh, I am very much so, very much so.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for coming along, and we will see you all next week for Task 2, which will be released on Monday. MC.